Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everyday English Learning, real conversations for your everyday life.
Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Lily. Today, we are talking about finding English stories that actually feel easy.
I definitely need this. My ears are tired today.
Have you been listening to English audiobooks in the car again?
Yes. I tried to listen to a popular mystery novel yesterday morning.
How did that go?
It was a complete disaster. I paused it every 5 seconds to translate a word.
That sounds so exhausting.
It really was. By the time I translated one word, the speaker was already 3 sentences ahead.
And then you lose the entire story.
Exactly. I just gave up and turned on the radio instead.
That is so common. We often choose listening material that is way too fast.
It makes me feel like my English is getting worse.
It is not your fault. You just picked the wrong material for right now.
So, there is a way to listen without getting a headache?
Yes, you just need stories that let your brain relax.
I would love to just relax and understand the main idea.
That is exactly what we will do today.
Do not worry if you miss a few words as we speak today.
Just follow the feeling. Useful phrases and meaning moments will appear naturally as we talk.
What is the very first step to making listening feel easy?
The first step is changing how we define a good story for learning.
I always thought a good story had to be advanced and full of new vocabulary.
That is the exact trap most adult learners fall into.
It really feels like a trap when you are stuck in traffic, frustrated with an audiobook.
Think about learning to swim for the first time. You do not jump straight into a stormy ocean.
No, you start in a quiet pool where your feet can touch the bottom safely.
Exactly. But with English listening, we often jump into the ocean on day one.
Because we want to read the famous novels everyone else is talking about.
Yes, but those fast, complex novels are the stormy ocean.
That makes a lot of sense. So my mystery novel yesterday was a hurricane.
It was. Your brain had to fight the waves just to survive the first chapter.
I definitely felt like I was drowning in long adjectives and fast dialogue.
When the English is too dense, you naturally start to tune out.
Tune out? You mean when my brain just turns off the sound?
Yes. You hear the words, but they just become background noise while you drive.
That happens to me all the time. I realize I have not understood the last 5 minutes.
And then you feel guilty, right?
Yes. I usually blame myself and think my English is just failing again.
It is not your English. Your brain is simply protecting itself from exhaustion.
That is a much kinder way to look at it. It removes the guilt immediately.
We need to find stories that feel like that calm swimming pool.
How do I know if a story is a calm pool or a stormy ocean?
You should be able to understand about 90% of the words without a dictionary.
90%? That sounds almost too easy for a real study session.
It is supposed to feel easy. That is actually where the real magic happens.
But if I know almost all the words, how am I improving?
You are learning the natural rhythm, the tone, and how words connect together.
Oh, I see. So I am practicing how the language flows, not just memorizing a vocabulary list.
Exactly. When you do not have to translate, you can actually enjoy the characters.
I would love to just enjoy a good plot in English without working so hard.
When the listening feels easy, you stay focused for a much longer time.
And I probably will not lose the thread of the story so quickly.
That is a great phrase to use. Lose the thread means you forget what is happening.
It feels like dropping your map in the middle of a dark forest.
Yes, If the story is too fast, you lose the thread and just get frustrated.
So if I feel lost, I should just stop and find a different podcast?
Yes, there is no prize for finishing an audiobook that makes you miserable.
Wow, I think my ego was forcing me to finish difficult things.
The adult ego wants to do hard things, but your brain needs comfortable repetition.
I think I really needed permission to just put the heavy books down.
You always have permission to choose easier, bite-sized material.
Bite-sized? Like a small snack instead of a huge meal?
Exactly. A 10-minute story is a perfect bite-sized practice for a busy Tuesday.
That completely changes how I feel about choosing my next podcast.
If this gentle approach to learning helps you, we are so glad you are here.
You can just hit play and relax with us whenever you feel overwhelmed.
To help you practice this boundary, let's use a very simple sentence frame.
I am ready. What should I say to myself when a story is too hard?
You can just say, I am having trouble keeping up.
I am having trouble keeping up.
It is a gentle way to admit the speed is just a bit too fast for today.
I definitely had trouble keeping up with the fast detective in my mystery novel.
And now you know you can just pause it and walk away without feeling guilty.
I am starting to feel a lot better, but I still worry about something.
What is still worrying you about the calm pool?
If the story is simple, will I just get incredibly bored?
It is very normal to worry about being bored.
I mean, I am an adult. I do not want to listen to stories about magical talking bears.
I completely agree with you.
I tried watching a children's cartoon last month to practice my listening.
How long did you survive?
About 12 minutes. The English was easy, but the story was just painful to watch.
That is the friction we have to navigate as adult learners.
We need simple English, but we still have adult brains and adult problems.
Exactly. Simple English does not have to mean a childish plot.
So, what does a good adult story look like for us?
It should be about real life. Work stress, travel, relationships, or everyday mistakes.
Like the mystery novel I tried to read, just told more clearly?
Yes. A good story for learning has clear pauses and everyday vocabulary.
But even when the vocabulary is easy, native speakers speak so fast.
That is the second big problem with everyday listening.
My coworker was telling a story in the break room yesterday.
Did you understand the words he was using?
Yes, he was just talking about fixing his car on Saturday.
But it still felt difficult to follow?
It was exhausting. He smashed all the words together into one giant sound.
Native speakers blend words naturally when they tell stories.
It feels like they never take a breath between their sentences.
And what does your brain do when they speak like that?
I stare at their mouth and try to catch every single syllable.
That is a very heavy cognitive load for your brain to carry.
It really is. It feels like I am taking a spelling test instead of having a conversation.
You are trying to read the trees instead of looking at the forest.
That goes back to the mystery novel. I lost the map because I stopped to look at one tree.
Exactly. When we listen to stories, we cannot translate every single word.
But if I miss a word, I panic. I feel like I am failing the interaction.
I hear that. It is very scary to let a word pass by without understanding it.
I always think that one missed word is the most important word in the story.
Usually, it is not. But your panic makes you miss the next 3 sentences.
Oh, that is so true. I freeze on one word, and the story leaves me behind.
He was talking about his car, right? Did he use any strange phrases?
He used some weird idiom about money that I had never heard before.
And your brain completely stopped to decode that idiom.
Yes. By the time I realized he meant the repair was expensive, he was talking about Sunday.
The idiom was the tree, Jake. The expensive car was the forest.
And I crashed right into the tree while he kept driving.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
I also get nervous because I know he expects me to reply eventually.
Because if you missed a detail, you feel like a bad listener?
Exactly. If I only understand half the story, what if I smile at the wrong time?
That is a very real fear. It is the social pressure of everyday English.
It is much scarier than a safe textbook exercise at my desk.
Because a textbook does not look at you waiting for an answer.
Exactly. A textbook cannot see me sweating.
But people are usually very forgiving if you just follow the emotion of their voice.
So I need to change the goal of my listening practice entirely.
You do. The goal is not to understand everything. The goal is to get the gist.
Get the gist? What does that mean in real life?
It means you understand the main idea, even if you miss the small details.
So if my coworker is talking about his car, I just need to know it is broken?
Yes. You do not need to know the exact name of the engine part.
That takes a lot of pressure off my shoulders.
It allows you to stay in the calm swimming pool.
But it is actually quite hard to let go of the missing words.
It is very hard. Perfectionism makes us want to catch every single detail.
I definitely suffer from English perfectionism.
It is the hardest thing to unlearn for adult language learners.
Yes, I am smart in my language, but in English, I feel slow.
That is why the emotional cost of listening is so high.
It hurts my pride when I cannot follow a simple story about a car.
That is an honest and completely normal reaction.
So how do I actually practice getting the gist without panicking?
Let's try it with a daily news podcast.
I listen to one of those on the train every morning.
When the news anchor reads the headlines, they speak very clearly, right?
Usually, yes. But then they interview an expert and the audio gets messy.
The expert speaks naturally, with messy rhythm and fast phrases.
And that is exactly when I want to pause the audio and translate on my phone.
Instead of pausing, I want you to practice just letting the confusing word float away.
Like a leaf floating down a river?
Yes, do not grab the leaf. Just watch it pass and keep looking at the river.
That sounds very poetic, but really hard to do in real life.
It takes practice, but when you stop grabbing the leaves, the river makes sense again.
I can see how that would help me stay focused on the main idea.
You just need to wrap your head around the general topic.
Wrap my head around it? Like hugging an idea?
Yes, it means to slowly understand something confusing.
I like that image. I just need to wrap my head around the big picture.
Not the tiny grammar rules or the single vocabulary words.
Just the big, messy human story.
Exactly. And that is when English stops feeling like an exhausting test.
And starts feeling like a real connection with the world.
Which is why we listen to stories in the first place.
I definitely want to practice that feeling of letting the difficult words float away.
It takes time to learn how to ignore those missing words.
It really does. My brain still wants to translate everything immediately.
That is a very hard habit to break for adult learners.
Is there a trick to stop my brain from constantly translating?
There is no magic trick. You just have to build your listening stamina slowly.
Listening stamina? Like running a long race on the weekend?
Yes. When you first start running, you cannot run for an hour straight.
I definitely cannot run for an hour. I would collapse.
Listening to a new language is the exact same physical feeling.
So my brain just gets physically tired from processing all the sounds?
Yes, That is why you suddenly lose the thread after 20 minutes.
Even if the story is easy and I know all the vocabulary?
Exactly. Your brain just needs a break from the cognitive heavy lifting.
That makes me feel so much better about losing focus in the car.
You will naturally zone out sometimes. Everyone does it.
Zone out? You mean when my mind wanders away to think about lunch?
Exactly. Or when you start thinking about an email you need to send.
That happens whenever I try to listen to podcasts while doing the dishes.
Doing chores while listening is actually a great way to practice.
But I always zone out when I drop a plate or turn on the water.
And that is completely fine. Even native speakers zone out during podcasts.
I always assumed native speakers caught every single word perfectly without trying.
Not at all. We miss details constantly while we wash the dishes.
But you do not panic when you miss a detail in your own language.
Right. Because we know how to easily catch up with the story again.
How do you catch up if you miss something really important?
We just wait for the next clear piece of information to guide us.
You do not rewind the audio 10 times to hear the missed word?
Never. We just keep listening until the story makes sense again.
That is a very mature way to handle feeling temporarily confused.
It is the only practical way to survive in a real, fast conversation.
Because you cannot pause a real person in the middle of a sentence.
Exactly. You just have to smile, relax, and wait for the next clue.
But what if the whole story just stays confusing for 10 minutes?
Then that particular story is not the calm swimming pool for you today.
So I should just turn it off and find something easier.
Yes. Finding an easy story is not about being lazy with your learning.
I always felt a little guilty searching for simple English podcasts.
You should not feel guilty. It is actually the smartest way to learn naturally.
Because I am giving my brain a safe place to practice its stamina.
Exactly. And you can slowly increase the difficulty over a few months.
I do not have to stay in the shallow water forever.
Right. But you cannot skip the shallow water if you want to swim well.
That is the realistic truth I really needed to hear today.
The limitation is that easy stories will not teach you dense academic vocabulary.
They will not help me pass a strict university exam next week.
No, they will not. They serve a completely different purpose for your brain.
They help me survive real life and casual chats in the break room.
They teach you the natural music and rhythm of the spoken language.
And they help me stop panicking when someone speaks a little too fast.
Exactly. That emotional comfort is worth more than a huge vocabulary list.
I definitely prefer emotional comfort over a headache in morning traffic.
I think we all prefer to avoid a headache.
So when I find a good, easy story, what is the best strategy?
Just press play, wash your dishes, and try to enjoy the actual message.
And if I zone out, I just gently tune back into the voice.
Yes. Try to use this simple phrase if you get distracted today.
I have my notebook ready. What is the helpful phrase?
Just quietly tell yourself, I can pick it up from here.
I can pick it up from here.
It means you do not need to go backward in the audio.
You just start listening again from the exact moment you are in.
Yes. Let the past sentences wash away down the river.
This whole approach feels so much softer and kinder to myself.
Learning a language should never feel like a constant punishment.
I think I have been punishing myself with those heavy mystery novels.
It is time to put the heavy novels on the shelf for a little while.
I am very happy to leave them there and take a break.
We have used some really great phrases today to describe this feeling.
We really have. I noticed quite a few idioms about losing focus.
It is almost time to review those specific phrases in our meaning moments.
I definitely need to make sure I really wrapped my head around them.
It is time for our meaning moments.
I am ready to review the vocabulary we used today.
Our first phrase today is lose the thread.
It perfectly describes the feeling of dropping your map in the forest.
Yes, to lose the thread means you stop understanding how the ideas in a story connect.
You hear the English words, but the plot just disappears.
Exactly. I lost the thread of the movie when the new character appeared.
Can I use this when I am talking to a real person?
Yes, it is a very polite way to apologize if you stop understanding.
Like saying, sorry, I lost the thread for a second?
Yes, it sounds much more natural than saying your English is bad.
It puts the blame on the confusing story, not on my brain.
That is a great way to frame it.
I am definitely adding this to my everyday vocabulary.
Repeat, lose the thread.
Lose the thread.
Beautiful. Our second word is bite-sized.
The small snack instead of the heavy winter coat.
Yes, it means something that is short, manageable, and easy to finish.
We usually use this word for food, right?
We do, but we also use it for information, lessons, or tasks.
I prefer bite-sized podcasts when I am driving to work.
That is a great example. It shows you know your own daily limits.
It feels much less stressful than a 3-hour audiobook.
You can also have bite-sized goals, like learning just one new phrase.
Small pieces of information are much easier to digest.
Repeat, bite-sized.
Bite-sized.
Great job. Our third phrase is get the gist.
This is my absolute favorite lesson from today.
To get the gist means to understand the main point, even if you miss details.
Like knowing the restaurant was bad without knowing the waiter's name.
Exactly. I did not hear every word, but I got the gist of the story.
Perfect. Can I also ask someone else for the gist?
Yes. If a meeting is very long, you can ask, "Can you just give me the gist?"
That is incredibly useful for busy days at the office.
It is very common in professional environments.
I will try it out this week.
Repeat, get the gist.
Get the gist.
Excellent. Next we have wrap your head around.
I really liked the image of hugging a confusing idea.
It means to finally understand something that is complicated or strange.
It took me a few days to wrap my head around the new software.
That is a very natural workplace sentence.
Can I use it in the negative if I am still confused?
Absolutely. I just cannot wrap my head around this grammar rule.
I have definitely said that about English prepositions before.
We all have those moments of total confusion.
It implies that the idea is big, but my brain will get there eventually.
Repeat, wrap your head around.
Wrap your head around.
Perfect. Our final phrase today is pick it up from here.
The magic phrase for when I zone out doing the dishes.
Yes, it means to continue from the current moment without going back to the beginning.
I missed the first 5 minutes, but I can pick it up from here.
That sounds so much healthier than rewinding the podcast again and again.
It is also a very common phrase to use with a team at work.
Yes, you can say, "You can go home early. I will pick it up from here."
It shows you are taking control of the situation calmly.
Repeat, pick it up from here.
Pick it up from here.
You did a fantastic job with all of those phrases today.
Thank you. They actually feel like tools I can use immediately.
That is the whole point of our meaning moments.
Now we have a specific question for everyone listening today.
I want you to think about your own listening habits.
It is time to focus on the topics that make you happy.
What is one topic you actually enjoy listening to in English?
That is a great question to help us focus on the calm swimming pool.
It is amazing how much faster you learn when you stop panicking over every word.
It really is. I am going to find a nice bite-sized story for my drive tomorrow morning.
And if you lose the thread, just let the difficult words float away down the river.
I will pick it up from there, and I will definitely share my favorite easy topic in the comments.
We really do love reading about your daily language journeys.
It always feels good to know we are all swimming in the same pool together.
It certainly does. Thank you for spending this quiet time with us at Everyday English Learning.
We hope you found a little more comfort and confidence for your listening practice today.
Take a deep breath and remember that easy is actually very good for your brain. I'm Lily.
And I'm Jake.
We will talk to you again very soon.
Take care and enjoy a perfectly relaxing story today.